Blog Talk Radio.
Basically.
What the hell is that?
I'm sorry. Well.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show. Will and Thunder Show. Thunder. Will and Thunder Show.
Ridiculous. Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show.
Hey guys, this is Gabby Ray, and you're listening to the Will and Thunder Show.
Well, there we have it, guys. There's Gabby Wright, and welcome into the Will and Thunder Show in our altered universe of metal and mayhem on this glorious Tuesday night. What's up there, guys? Will and Chris, you guys out there?
I'm here. What's going on, man?
What's going on? How are you guys making it tonight?
What's up, Thunder? What's up, Will?
You guys do not seem half excited as I am tonight.
Well, I'm running.
Oh my God, I am stoked. I don't even know what you mean.
I got a whole new setup on how I've got the sound clips here and everything, and it's going to make it easier in the long run. But at first, it's a little, it takes a little getting used to. We got this. We're good.
That's all right. Let's do this, man. Let's. As I said, let's get into this metal and mayhem. This whole thing that we love. The thing that boils our blood and gets us going is this whole thing, metal music. And you know what? In the last couple of weeks, man, we've had some great guests on the show, man. And it's got me to the point where look, I'm just so excited every time that I get a chance to get out here and express ourselves and talk to these people that we're having on there tonight. Got a great guest tonight. Chris, why don't you tell us about what we got going on this evening?
Oh, we have got an extraordinary show for you tonight. I mean, this is probably going to be one of our best shows, or at least guest-wise. Tonight we've got, not only do we have the legendary Leone from Chastain, but also joining us is going to be the frontwoman of Benedictum, Veronica Freeman. She's also amazing. Both of these ladies are just fucking killer. And Veronica's going to stop in and talk a little bit about her upcoming Kickstarter for her solo album. She's putting out a solo album, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about that. And then Leather's going to come in and talk to us about the new Chastain record, which came out late last year, and just all the amazing stuff she's been doing over the last 12 months, such as performing on stage with Doro and going to Brazil, all these amazing things. So, yeah, it's going to be – I interviewed both these gals separately for Sonic Cathedral last year, and they're both just such amazing people to interview, just great to talk to. So I'm really looking forward to getting them together and talking to them at the same time, because I know that they're both really good friends, and they both really think highly of each other as artists and musicians. So it's going to be just awesome to sit down and talk to the two of them together and learn a little more about what's going on with the two of them. And I know Leather's going to be on Veronica's solo album as well, so it'll be cool to hear both of their perspective on that. Yeah, so, I mean, we just got so much going on, I don't even know where to start. So maybe Will can help me out.
Well, I got a question real quick. Are the songs, the other two, you gave us a classic. We have a classic song from Chastain. These other two songs, are they solo or are they Chastain?
The other two songs I sent you are from the brand new Chastain record, Surrender to No One. They're the two singles that have been, they both have videos to them. One of them is a lyric video, the other is a video. And so for those of you out there who have kind of lost track of Chastain since the 80s, they are back, and Leather is back on the mic. They put out a record late last year called Surrender to No One, and if you're one of those people who think, oh, the bands from the 80s aren't as good as they used to be, you would be wrong, because Chastain sounds like they have not missed a beat. They're better than ever. They just sound phenomenal. Leather sounds great, and it's just top-notch. It got on my top 10 list last year of my favorite records at Sonic Cathedral. So, yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to having Leather on the show. She's basically one of the first people I thought of when you guys asked me to join your show. I was just like, I cannot wait to get Leather on here. At the time, she was so busy touring and doing stuff, but she's got some downtime now, so we were finally able to get her on the show. And so, yeah, I've been really looking forward to this. And Veronica, too, I was eventually going to ask her to come in and be on the show when it got closer to her solo album getting released, but when she emailed me and said she's got this Kickstarter thing going on, I thought this would, with the holidays coming up, and I thought it'd be the perfect opportunity for her to get in and promote the Kickstarter and get some people out there to, exactly.
That's right. Let's go ahead. Let's get it done, man. Look, man, that's the whole idea of what we're doing right here is to take bands like this, and we've had some younger bands on the show, do some Kickstarters and things, and that's their upstart to get things rolling. But these are bands that have been around for a while that are getting back into the game, and this Kickstarter thing isn't just for the guys that are in a garage that are look, I want to sell some T-shirts so I can make an album. It's also for these bands that have been around that look, man, we're trying to get back in the game. We sat down for a while, we've been idle for a minute, and this is the way that we can get back to our followers right there and let them know, look, man, we're not dead, we're not done, we're ready to go again. Give us a little shot right here in the arm. And you know what? We're gonna send you out something big in the in the end right there. And it's really cool how these whole Kickstarter things go on. And watching these bands from the 80s and 90s that we fell in love with, watching them resurge and come back into life. I mean, it kind of feeds life back into us too as listeners right here. You don't have to listen to the man, I remember listening to this song right here, and now you have something new and fresh, and it's getting you back into that groove right there and feeling alive, and I mean even young again.
Well, speaking of
and not only that, a lot of these, especially in the case of bands like Benedictum and singers like Veronica, if you are a fan of these bands like Chastain from back in the day, it's good to know that there are bands like Benedictum that are out there that are still waving that flag, that are still carrying on that sound and giving you fresh and new stuff to listen to that is in the same vein of that style of music. And
all right, well, excellent.
Absolutely.
That's coming up starting around 10:30 through the remainder of our show. But right now, let's do some news.
I read the news today, oh boy.
We got two news stories for you tonight, and then we're going to get into history. But right off the bat, Thunder.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to play a clip for you, and I want you to tell me what you think that these two things might have to do with each other. Okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my
Thunder.
Okay, wait a minute here. It sounded more than 2 clips right there. I know that my cat right there would have loved to thrash around and dude, you got me so confused on that whole montage there. Explain to me what the hell's going on there.
This is the most feel-good metal Christmas story that you're probably going to hear this year. This is just a
okay. Well, you know, you hear the first song right there, then you hear the little thrash metal. Then I heard the Meow Mix commercial, I thought.
Yep.
Okay, well, so all 3 of them, I heard all 3 right. That was Slayer, Meow Mix, and what else? Well, and I know the song here, and damn it. Okay, so tell me what the hell's going on here.
The theme there is Slayer and kittens. Well, basically earlier this week, Slayer had a concert in Indiana, and before while they were doing their thing before the show, there was this bum who was selling this kitten for $1. So one of the band members of Slayer actually bought the kitten, and they found the little kitten. It was starved and everything, and dirty and cold and scared, and they found the kitten. A loving owner there locally in Indiana, courtesy of Slayer. So Slayer saved a kitten.
It's cute, man. I'm glad they didn't sacrifice it. I mean, it didn't have any horns or anything, so I understand that. But
I was just about to say that, though. To all you idiots out there who think that these metal bands
Slayer's such bad fucking guys right there.
That they all just rip the heads off animals, and no. What we metalheads do when we find an animal, we make sure that it has a home.
Exactly.
Or if we cannot take it in ourselves.
Just because we sing shit that you can't understand doesn't mean that we're fucking sadists, you sons of bitches out there. Look, man, I mean, I have another child in my life. I've got 6 kids that I've actually, raised. I have a 7th one, and she's a 10-year-old German Shepherd, and that is as much a child as any one of my kids in here. As a matter of fact, tonight I went through my refrigerator, and I gave her crab meat and all different kinds of different stuff. Stacked her, and she thinks that she is a human being here. She actually will talk to me. And you know what? She's as human as my kids are. And you know what? And to all you guys out there who think that we eat bat ants, no, look, man, I don't want to eat a bat. I don't want a bat to touch me. I'm not a demon here. I don't like cockroaches and spiders. Actually, I despise spiders. I will scream like a 7-year-old schoolgirl around a spider. And that's, what? Look, that doesn't make me not rock and roll. That makes me a realist because spiders bite and they're nasty.
They're evil. But also, Thunder, I'm also, as everyone knows, an animal lover. Actually, today, December 9th, is 11 years ago since I adopted my dog. So, yes, I love my dog probably more than I love most humans. So, and my dog's the most metal dog.
Now, there's one thing that I do agree with, though. There's one thing I agree with 100%. And you can disagree with me whatever you want to, and anybody out there can disagree and call me stupid, whatever. Please do me a favor. In all rights, dogs already have their clothes on. The fur is a jacket and all that. They don't need to wear outfits. They're not comfortable, especially the fucking shoes. You ever watch the videos on YouTube when they're walking around like they have cerebral palsy because they don't want them? No, they have real paws. They don't need your shoes to make them look like jackasses. Let a dog be a dog.
Actually, though, I do need to say, in fairness to the people who put there in some countries or in some regions, they actually do have to put shoes on their dogs because I have a friend in Finland who has a dog. And
I understand,
but you put booties on him when it gets really, really cold because he could get frostbite.
Yeah, so just like horses,
in Arizona, it's like.
Yeah, they're blankets and stuff that they put on horses where I live here when it gets really cold, and I understand that. That I understand. But if you have a dog running around dressed up like St. Nicholas, no, you're a jackass. Get the clothes off the dog and let the dog be a dog.
Damn right.
Yeah.
First of all, the dog.
Before moving along.
If you really think the dog walks into the closet and goes, you know what, I like to wear that today. No, the dog's going, please, God, leave me alone today. Can I just lick my ass without having to get through a fucking fur coat that's not mine? I don't need Chanel, and I don't need, look, I'm colorblind. I can't even tell what color you're putting on me. I'm a fucking dog. Are you kidding me?
The struggles of a dog.
Man, come on now. You know what? Feed your dog, pet your dog, love your dog, give it a couple treats once in a while. It doesn't need clothes, a jacket, a blanket. Look, it's not a biker. It doesn't need a leather coat. I'm serious. It's never going to ride a motorcycle. Leave it alone.
Well, before we move on to the next story, a big round of applause for Slayer for doing the right thing there.
Absolutely.
Is it just me, or does our audience seem a little more enthusiastic and lively this week?
Look, and I'm more lively. I don't know what it is. There's something in the air tonight. I guess it's starting to smell a little more like metal.
Yeah, if that Slayer
you
story
thought I was going to say
not,
Christmas, didn't you?
Nope.
Yes, I did get the joke. I did.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. I did get the joke. I was just about to say, though, if that Slayer story did not warm your metal heart, then I just don't know what to tell you.
Should turn your metal hearts into molten lava.
Yes, it melted my heart into molten lava.
Into magma. Anyway.
Yeah, that's just...
And it really is a cool story, right? Because, that's the way things really happen, man. And you know what? And on top of that, people do this stuff all the time. I see stuff on, websites where people do... they film where they find, homeless animals, cats, dogs, or what so have you, and it shows them, going and picking them up, or and bringing them back to a happy life for the animal. Which
right.
I love every time I see that video right there, where it shows, a dog cowered in a corner right there and half starved, and it shows the next portion where it's like, all right, well, somebody's feeding them and kind of petting them half-assed, and the next one, they petting them better. Next thing you know, the dog's licking them, then it's running around with the other dog. I love that shit because, the animals don't have a choice right here. It's either go out there and try and fend for yourself, and especially with dogs now, they're bred so much to be relied on humans to take care of them and help them. It's harder, they don't have that in their bloodlines anymore to take care of themselves. So when you see those things, I think it's really cool. And to see someone that's so metal and that everybody thinks that, fuck them, that they're going to go kill a goat tonight. No, we're going to save a kitty tonight, and fuck you can kiss my ass. We're still going to rock your ass off. But you know what?
And we're going to be more metal for doing that now.
That's right. That's awesome.
Right. Now, what's the other Christmas story that you have there for us, Chris?
Well, just when you think that we couldn't have a more metal Christmas, does anyone want to take a guess who came out with a metal Christmas album this year? If you want to think metal, but not necessarily a metal artist, but somebody out there who just that you would think is very metal for not being a metal artist. Anybody?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, as we all know, metal and Lord of the Rings almost go together like peanut butter and chocolate, and none other than Christopher Lee, a.k.a. Saruman, the evil wizard from Lord of the Rings, put out a metal Christmas album. And
really?
It is just, yes. The man is like 93 years old, 94 years old, and he put out a metal album last year. Guy is just waving that metal flag, and is just everything you'd expect to be a metal wizard to be. It's just he's doing it. He's just so awesome, and because metalheads like Christmas too. We like to get the wrapping paper and the trees and all that stuff, but some of these Christmas albums out there are just too wimpy for us, and so yeah, somebody out there has got to do it right.
To be honest with you, how many? You look back right here, and how many bands? Metal bands have ever done a really, really good metal album for Christmas?
Twisted Sister.
I know it's
Striper.
It's kind. I understand. Well,
Dio did a good Christmas song. I don't know if it was a full album, but and of course Trans-Siberian Orchestra pretty much is the vanguard of really good Christmas albums in a metal type style. But
let me tell you about if you've never heard it. Twisted Sister. Like for the past 3 years, I've listened to that album on Christmas. Twisted
really?
Christmas. Yeah, and the "O Come All You Faithful," they actually took the music for "We're Not Gonna Take It" and put the lyrics for "O Come All You Faithful" over the top of it, and it fits perfectly.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up tonight. I'm gonna look that up tonight, and and honestly, I've never put those two genres together, so I haven't heard a whole lot of it. I mean, I've heard a little bit here and there.
If you listen to the melody of "We're Not Gonna Take It" and "Come All You Faithful," they're almost identical.
Right, they are. And they fit like a glove when you hear that song. I'd play it right now, but Dee Snider might sue me.
Right, exactly. But anyway, well, everybody who's out there, you can look it up, and then Dee Snider will be happy because you give him. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say if he doesn't, then Gene Simmons probably owns the patent to "Come All You Faithful" and will sue us.
Gene Simmons probably owns the Will and Thunder show, and we just don't know it.
Exactly.
You know what? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Anyway, speaking of the Will and Thunder show, Will and I have been discussing some things right here, and we are going to possibly start making some T-shirts for the Will and Thunder show. And if we can do this thing and you guys make it popular with yourselves and let us know either on Facebook or Twitter or on the show, there's a way that we might be able to get you some Will and Thunder shows for a decent Will and Thunder show T-shirts for a decent price here, and we're thinking about maybe possibly doing that. And I'm not going to say the word right here. Will work with me here.
We're probably not going to do that. We're not going to have enough time.
Well,
I love the new intro, by the way. Will, great job.
Exactly. Not just for what we're thinking about. I mean, just to keep the show going and get things going right, and we could do a big show, and maybe we can. Here's my idea right here. Well, we talked about this earlier, and I didn't run this by you, and I'm going to throw this on you on the air real quick.
Okay.
The idea here is, we've been doing this for a good bit over a year now, and you discussed doing this T-shirt thing, and maybe if we do it the right way, and we get our guests going the right way, like we're doing, and we get these T-shirts going around, maybe we could do a big show where me, you, and Chris can get together and do a live show and get some of the bands that we've had in the past year and a half.
You mean like Will and Thunderpalooza?
Will and Thunderpalooza. And I think that 3D in Your Face, one of the great bands that we've had, maybe Dead Serious and some of the other big bands, some of these guys that, really have had a good time on our show might want to step on board. And I think it might be a good idea right there to maybe think of Will and Thunderpalooza.
Well, I can tell you already that both Aries and Seisha are already, getting excited to get back on the show. They already are like, when can we come back? And
so maybe we can all get together. And, a good central point right here is in Memphis, Tennessee, or actually, Jackson, Tennessee.
It would have to be in California because our sister here doesn't travel very well.
Can't travel very far.
That's fine. Well, then maybe we can get something going and we can do something, in California, especially in the valley right there, or maybe something on the Sunset Strip or something, and we can get it something a little something going. And as long as we start making some noise and start thinking about it and get a lot of bands in there, we might be able to figure something out. But I think that would be a great idea to start one of these causes for, one of these Kickstarters. And
also, my boyfriend came up with a good idea. He's like, maybe if you guys can't afford the T-shirt thing right now, or that's too, it's too much too soon, then maybe stickers might be a good place to start too, or along with the T-shirts. So he's like,
actually,
some people don't
to
wear
be honest
T-shirts,
with you,
but
I think the stickers would be a better idea.
Really? Well, he comes up with good ideas sometimes. That's why I keep him around.
As a matter of fact, Will, I want you to look tomorrow on stickers, because I guarantee you that we can get twice as many stickers for the price we can get T-shirts. And if you put a Will and Thunder sticker in every bathroom you stop at when you have to take a leak when you're on a road trip.
True.
You know, and I'm going to tell you something. As a guy right here, Will, me and you, best place to put a sticker, if you want it seen in a
right
public
there,
place, is on the underside of a toilet seat. Because by habit, if you have a woman, you're going to put the seat up, and you'll see that sticker. And you'll be like, oh, what's that sticker say? Oh, well, I just looked at the toilet seat. You're going to read that, and you're going to remember that.
Yep.
Well, I know in California, a really popular place to put stickers, too, is at stop signs. Various parts of like towards the beach or, populated areas like the Strip. But you see a lot of stickers on stop signs. So when you're sitting there at the stop sign and you're looking at the stickers like, ooh, what's this Will and Thunder?
Yeah.
Well, that's it right there. So maybe that's what we need to do right there is, you know what? And depending on the cost, I'm right there, 50 cents a sticker, man. And you know what? If you buy so many stickers, maybe we'll send you a T-shirt. Maybe we can work out a deal price-wise where we can get this figured out right here. And you buy 50 stickers and you get a T-shirt for $10. Well,
I know that Veronica's Kickstarter is kind of set up where there's certain things where if you buy so many things, you get extra stuff. So maybe when she comes in, she can kind of tell us a little about how that works.
We'll talk about that. But anyway, okay. Well, now we were going to history. So let's actually we're making history right now. So anyway, so now it's time to go to the history segment of the Will and Thunder Show. So Will, right there.
And now, this week in rock history. Rock history.
All right, this week in rock history, we've got a few stories, and we're going to start it off with our favorite classic rock star, Thunder.
Go ahead.
Oh, come on, Thunder! You know who it is.
Classic.
Who's our favorite rock star that we talk about every single week?
The bass player hater. I've got a story about him too.
Several of those. I mean,
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Look, I have a story about him too. So you guys go ahead and tell your story about Mr. Lewis right here, because I have a little situation right here I need to talk about myself. So make it quick because I have 3 stories I need to talk about.
Okay. Well, I think that I can delete 2 of the stories that I have here. One I have to keep. I had 4 stories. I think I can get we'll get one of them out of the way before we get to old Jerry Lee. December 8, 2004, of course, was the day that Dimebag Darrell was killed during the show.
Yes, rest in peace.
God rest his soul. By a douchebag, man.
Yeah, some nut who believed that he was responsible for breaking up Pantera, when we all know it was that douchebag Phil Anselmo who broke up Pantera.
Yeah, he came in there and thought he was going to save the world by killing Dimebag, and I don't know how that was going to put Pantera back together by taking away, one of the greats right here. I mean, that's one of those things right there. It's like, look, man, think about things before you do shit, man. Plan shit out better. Fuck. I mean, shoot somebody else in the band and be like, bitch, if you don't get back with Pantera, you're next.
Don't shoot anybody.
But don't shoot him. I know you shouldn't shoot anybody.
Come up with an idea of doesn't involve shooting someone.
I understand it, but the point of the matter is here, look, man. I mean, it's simple as this, man. If the guy who makes donuts at Dunkin's and you want more donuts, you don't shoot the donut maker. You don't make the guy who runs shit. I mean, look. I mean,
shitty donuts. You don't shoot him, so in the hopes that he'll make better donuts.
It's so fucking stupid, man. And I'm like, really? And you know what, God rest, I'll tell you what, I saw a picture the other day of his tombstone, and I'll tell you what, man, look, I'm a nobody right here. I hope they put my name on mine, but God bless, that's a piece of fucking art right there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And, you know, and he was a piece of art. He was fucking phenomenal. I loved Pantera, man. I mean... Mm-hmm. He he was something, man. And he's got such a following and so many people there. They're going to continue his music on. And he inspired so many guitar players. And his music won't die. Don't get me wrong.
He and his brother, they always said they wanted to be the Van Halen brothers of metal, and by God, before
they were,
before time was taken from this earth, that they lived that dream. They are the Van Halen brothers of metal. There's nobody else like them.
Well, moving on. December 11th, 1957. Our buddy, 22-year-old Jerry Lee Lewis, secretly marries his 13-year-old second cousin, Myra Gale Brown, while still married to Jane Mitchum. He had first married when he was 16 to Dorothy Barton, the daughter of a local preacher. Mitchum became his second wife in a shotgun ceremony. And before he had divorced the previous wife, the marriage to Myra would last until 1970. And at last count, Jerry Lee.
Okay, to be honest with you, the first half of that story, you're kind of cutting out on me. I did not hear what you said right there, so I missed half of the first half of that. All I heard was about a marriage.
On December 11th was the anniversary when Jerry married his cousin, but at the same time, he was still married to somebody else. So,
that somebody else.
And somewhere in there,
doesn't surprise me.
Now, that somebody else he was married to at a shotgun wedding. Okay. Now, if I'm the male participant in a shotgun wedding, believe me, I don't think I'm going to want to marry somebody else in secret just a couple years later. Do you?
Well, you're not like JerryLee Lewis, so that's why we love him, because he's crazy.
Now, in the same aspect of Jerry Lee Lewis, he's in the news. Now, in October 14th of 2012, there was a man in a town close to me right here. I mean, not an hour's drive from me in Memphis, Tennessee. His name was B.B. Cunningham. He was the bass player, keyboard player, etc. for the Jerry Lee Lewis Band. And he actually, after the band had dispersed, he was an older guy at this point, was acting as a security guard, and he got killed in a shootout. Now, I'm not saying that Jerry was there.
Hold on.
I'm not saying that. That wasn't.
Every shooting
that was not in the article. I'm just telling you that B.B. Cunningham was shot to death, lost his life by a 22-year-old man. And I don't know if this 20, he was a bass player. Keyboard player for the Jerry Lee Lewis Band. So, and now he was shot by a 22-year-old man was convicted. So I'm saying Jerry Lewis may not have held the gun this time. I'm not saying that he didn't have any money involved into it because, it's a bass player, Jerry Lewis. I'm just going to say.
But we know that he's shot bass players before. Well, in this case, afterwards. But we know that he has a reputation for shooting bass players. So you never know.
Thunder, Chris.
And on top of that, right there, I found two other. Hold on, real quick. I found two other bass players with strange deaths right here. One was Jaco Pastorius. Hold on.
Thunder, we're going to have to hold him off because our guests are here, and we don't want to keep them waiting.
Okay, that's fine.
Our first guest is here, but we also have something that we haven't had in a while, a random caller. So I'm going to bring
our caller in.
I think the 321 area code is leather. I know this over here is Veronica.
That's all. 321.
Go ahead. Bring our caller in right there. Welcome on.
Hello.
Come on in.
Thunder.
What's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on? How are you doing?
Who are we talking to?
My name is Ty. Greetings from Melbourne, Florida.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Boy.
Yeah, right on. Hey, I haven't heard from you guys in a while. I haven't talked to you, but I got to kind of chime in a little bit. Bass players are kind of funky people anyway.
Oh man, don't go there. That's not. Why are we funky people, man? We're real, man. We're right on the money, man.
Bass players are funky. Oh, wait, hold on.
I'm gonna bring Veronica in.
Oh my God! Why is Veronica even playing?
I didn't do that. Did you do that? I didn't do that.
I pushed drum roll and the other one starts playing. Okay, why is... Why? Okay, we're having a Spinal Tap moment
I have
here.
no idea what you guys are doing right here.
You made a joke about bass players being funky, and I was trying to do this. Okay.
Okay, I look. That's what you get for look, because bass players have rhythm. I would have had it right there that time, right now. First, go ahead. Anyway,
yeah,
exactly.
I'm having a Spinal Tap moment here.
Okay. Anyway,
am I like
Ty, I'm
am I like on the Gong Show or something?
Yeah, absolutely. If there was ever a radio show version of the Gong Show,
we are the Gong
we're
Show of radio.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna bring in Veronica. She's here, and we're gonna maybe get her opinion on bass players too. But we're gonna bring her in right now. Veronica, are you here?
I am here.
Veronica. Yay! Yay!
Oh, that's
awesome. Each other
I
on
got
the phone.
gong.
I was like,
this is going to be like the strangest thing ever. How are you guys?
We're
How are
doing
you
fantastic.
doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I am very, very honored to be here. And I don't have much time because I got myself involved in something I had no idea was going to be happening. I am talking to you with fangs in my mouth because I am at Five Towns College over here in Long Island or whatever, and shooting a vampire movie called Bite School, and I had no idea this was covered in gray death makeup. I have to send you a picture. This is the most insane thing I've ever done, and I've done a lot of insane things. So I am like, everybody's just kind of like waiting on me. I thought we'd be done, and it's like, no. So, God, talk to me.
Well,
yeah, we know you've got limited time, so yeah, just go ahead and we know you've got a Kickstarter thing going on that you wanted to talk to us about. So
I do.
I
do. Well, I hate to be begging for money, but I'm not proud, honey. I started the Kickstarter campaign because I have a solo album, which my beloved Leather is on as well, and that'll be coming out next year. But there were a lot of issues and here and there, and it got very, 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 very costly and over budget, and just how you want it to be right. You know what I mean? So I started the Kickstarter campaign. You can go to veronicafreeman.com and they'll find a link there. It just makes it easier. And what I haven't had a chance to do, I hope I'm not like talking with a list. This is really embarrassing. I don't want to pull the things out because we had a really hard time getting them in.
No, you sound fine.
Okay.
You do.
God, within like 3.5 days, I met the goal. Now, I made the goal kind of low because you know how it is with Kickstarter. If you don't make your goal, you don't get squat, right? So
yeah.
I am so grateful for everybody who has gotten behind this thing, and you included. And now I'm going to start some stretch goals because if you don't know, you got to know. And I know Leather can definitely feels the same way as I did, but we want to get out there and play. I mean, when we were just out here with Doro October.
Were you at the show too?
Yeah. So.
Because actually, I interviewed Doro right before those shows happened, and she mentioned that Leather was going to be there, and so you were like, "Oh my God, Leather! We're so excited!"
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, it was a blast. It really was, and then just being on there, just even for that few moments, I'd much rather be doing that than being in the studio. The writing process is all good. Trust me, it's great and all that. But I like the energy of being on stage, and I know that that's where I want to be. So the stretch goal is if we hit 8, that I'd like to get this show on the road, maybe do something, a few shows on the East Coast, a few select areas and stuff, and do a combination of Benedictum and some of the solo stuff and just have fun with it and have some guest performers and stuff like that. So that is my new request, and then we're working on getting a video. So there's some really interesting and cool things that you can buy too, because I got to keep it like different. And I sold some of my bras, which were like they got snatched up, so I got to add some more. You know, what the hell? So, you know, whatever works, I'm not proud. But yeah, that's what's going on, and I appreciate the support for that. And we're sitting here waiting for our chance to get filmed here. I got to send you these pictures. I look like a Willie Munster.
Yeah, we'll put them up on our Facebook. But speaking of guests, yeah, we have a Facebook. If you send them our way, we'll put them up there. But speaking of guest appearances, I noticed I was looking at your Kickstarter page, and a name came up that was mentioned on our show last week, which is Michael Sweet from Stryper. Is he going to be on your solo album too?
He already is. Yeah. What had happened was there was really a really rough time, and you know that's all I want to say about that. It just wasn't quite right, and budget was long gone, and it just kind of seemed like right at the darkest hour, it was just one of those series of events. I don't hardly ever do the Twitter thing. I still haven't figured it out. But I got a tweet from somebody that was like, oh, I do this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I could use some help. And at the end of the day, it turns out that he knew Michael Sweet. And I was just kind of, I was joking around, oh, well, why don't we get, him to be on the album or something like that. And he goes, well, I'm going to play him some of your music. And I guess he played Michael some of the stuff that I've done with Benedictum. And he really liked it, and he's like, he wanted to get more into the production end anyway. And he's also, he's on Frontiers and stuff. And so the next thing you know, I'm on the phone with him, and it just so happened that they had a show in Phoenix 2 days later. So we met there and kind of just shook hands on the thing. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I flew out to Boston and had to, borrow money from family and friends to pay for the studio. I mean, he actually pretty much donated his time. I mean, I've got to pay him, but he's like, look, you can, once you do this Kickstarter thing, you can pay me for that later. And he was really wrote, produced, and played on 2 songs, and they're really, really cool. It was one of the most incredible experiences because the studio that he worked out of was just like, I was like, wow, this is like out in the middle of this forest, and it's this beautiful place. And then, his friend Kenny Lewis, we did some of the mixing and stuff over there, and I did my vocals at his studio, a mixed emotion studio over in Boston as well. And it was just one of those whirlwind things, as I'm always prone to do. There's never like anything that just happens the way it's supposed to happen. But I guess that's what keeps it interesting, right? So, that's what he's doing on that, and they came out really, really well, and that's kind of like changed the tone because now we had stuff that was recorded previously, and to make them all come out the same and mastering and stuff when they're actually different sessions has been a challenge. And also doing another duet with Tony Martin, so that was kind of unexpected too, but.
Oh, yeah. Well, you hooked me up with Tony when I did the interview with you last year.
Right.
And he was so cool about talking to me about his experiences with working with you. So I'm really stoked to hear you guys together again. And I was just going to say that should have been the song I uploaded for us to play tonight.
Yeah, duh, but no, actually, and I'm sorry I can't give you any of the new stuff to play. I mean, you can hear little snippets of it in the background on the Kickstarter thing, and I'm going to kind of try to release a little bit more of that too. I mean, it's not like heavy metal, but there's definitely some metal elements in it. It's a stretch for me. It's definitely not Benedictum, which probably was the hardest thing for me to not go into that mode because that's what I do. But it still rocks, and I think I'm the one that has the most struggling with it. But the most fun I had was when Leather came out and we did our work together because she's a hoot. She's a hoot.
Yeah, actually, Leather was the one that told me about your solo album and said how it's going to be totally different from Benedictum, and it's going to be just like nobody's going to expect this from you. It's going to be really, really cool, but also very different. So I'm really looking forward to hearing it. And the song I was referring to obviously was the Benedictum song, not the one you're working on now with Tony.
Right. No, I figured it. I figured that would be Cry or whatever. And that was a time when we talked about doing another thing because I had originally wanted that song to be on the solo album. And then there was I wanted to flip it around because he said, well, I have another tune, which is really cool too, and that's the one that's actually on the solo album, but I wanted that for the Benedictum. I wanted to switch them around. But it's all good, and I'm glad we had a chance to do it and everything. So, you know, a lot of people came together to make it happen. So I'm nothing but grateful. You know, I've got a lot to be grateful for, to still be able to do this and have people that are in my corner.
Well, awesome. Well, if you have a couple minutes, what we'll do is real quick, we'll play the Benedictum song so our listeners out there who are new to your music or not very familiar with you, we can kind of see if they have an incentive here to want to get your solo album for Christmas or contribute to Kickstarter.
Absolutely. Yeah, so, no, I'd really appreciate that. Any help with that would be great. And for the pledges that, you know, obviously the album isn't out till next year, but what I have is I can do gift certificates and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to put something under the tree, it's all good.
Yeah, all right. Well, cool. Well, then let me let's hear some Benedictum, which is Veronica's day job. That's her band that she's in all the time, not solo. But let's listen to a song called Obey from the album called Obey, and you guys can take a listen to her awesome voice and see just why you should contribute to her Kickstarter, because she's great. So, yeah, let's listen to Benedictum on the Will and Thunder Show. We'll be back in a minute.
definitely listening. That was badass. That was Obey by Benedictum on the Will and Thunder show. Wow, that was badass.
Thank you.
I told you guys she was awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. You are good to me. I'm in a need.
Get down to Orlando, Florida.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
What?
Are you there?
I'm here.
You got to get down to Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, we've got a friend from Central Florida still on with us. Wanted to weigh in on the bass player conspiracy that Thunder has going on. Are you there, Thunder?
For our regular for people who are new to the show, that's been a regular feature here on the show for the last several weeks. That we find all these weird stories about things that happen to bass players, and Thunder is gathering information to see why bass players in particular are so maligned, because he's a bass player. So he's come to the conclusion that there's a grand conspiracy against bass players.
I always thought it was against drummers, but maybe it's just the rhythm section in general.
Maybe. You might be onto something.
I haven't looked as much into drummers, but I have looked a little into bass players, and there are some inconsistencies here. I mean, there are right here. I mean, there's a lot. And you can do with the drug issue and heart attacks. That's easy to cover up right there. But I found a couple that really are out there right there. Getting beaten by bouncers and.
Well, just last week alone, we had a news story about a guy, a bass player, who got hit in the nuts with those beanbags that come out of the streamer cannons, and then another story about a bass player who died from his boat capsizing and getting eaten by sharks. So it's like,
right.
We have all these weird stories that have come out. But how about you?
Well, I'm glad I'm not one at this moment.
And then Jerry Lee Lewis's bass player, who got shot twice while trying to hold a beer bottle from the shoot out of his hand. He's had a really bad shot. Well, then another bass player from Jerry Lee Lewis's band gets shot and killed trying to be a security guard. On top of that, there's another bass player for The who was found dead right before the 2002 opening of their show that was found by a stripper. Yeah, a stripper. I think that was a hired hand. Another one, Jacob Astoria, who was beaten to death by a bouncer.
I want to know. What was she doing with her hand?
Stop. Yeah, exactly. She pulled a muscle too hard. That's why he died from a pulled muscle. Will, don't start with me. Don't start with me. He did not die from a pulled muscle. All right?
Yeah, we need to, rein you in, bro.
Yes.
Because I can go on all night about the bass players.
And everybody's so worried about the Illuminati and, the stock market. No, it's all against bass players.
Thunder, what were you saying, Veronica?
I have to go. I'm in the middle of this film process here, which I did not think was going to go as long, and I have to go, and I'm so sorry, but I'm...
No, I understand. We were hoping you could hang out for a minute when Leather got here, but since you do have to go, if you have, just real quick, just go ahead and plug all of your websites, your CD Now or whatever stuff that you got going on, so our listeners can check you out.
Absolutely, and I feel really bad just stick and move here because that's not what I wanted to do, but I had no idea it was going to be as involved as it is here. Should have figured that out. But in any case, the band's name is Benedictum, and you can find the latest album is called Obey, which you heard the title track to. Benedictum.net is where you can get stuff. Also, there's veronicafreeman.com, and then I have my Facebook page, Veronica the V Freeman, Benedictum Facebook page, all that kind of stuff. You know where to find me. So also the Kickstarter has a link on veronicafreeman.com. So I want to again thank everybody that has pledged thus far and got the stretch goal of getting out there and playing, and I'll probably kidnap Miss Leather too, and we'll just have some fun getting out there and making some stuff happen. And I will send you some pictures and give you a little more information about what's going on tonight, because this is blowing my mind as well. So
yeah, and honestly, when you have more time and the solo album's almost done, you're welcome to come back on the show to do the full hour, and we'll kick back and have a drink.
It would be
and
my
discuss.
pleasure. I'll have a glass of wine. We'll kick it and we'll talk. But right now, I am really not in a position to do that. So I'm holding other people up here, and I can't do that. So
Well, you know,
good luck
do
with
me
the
a
movie,
favor.
and thank you so much for stopping by and taking the time to come on our show.
Much love, you
Enjoy
guys.
your fangs. Enjoy your fangs and have fun making that movie.
Yes, keep it
I will.
metal,
I'll keep you
girlfriend.
posted. Okay, baby.
Thanks,
Be
V.
good.
I will. We'll keep in touch.
Okay.
All right, love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right,
that was awesome, man.
That was.
Well, that was very
fun.
cool of Veronica to stop by and have a chat with us, because I know when she told me she was filming this video, I was like, you can always come on some other time or whenever you get a chance. Like, no, I want to come in, and especially when she heard Leather was going to be on too. So it's just, I was hoping they would have a few minutes we could have them on together, but understandably, she's got shit.
Maybe later down the line we can do that.
Well,
yeah, that's what I thought.
We can definitely have her on for Veronica Freeman or Benedictum show or whatever sometime in the future. But while Ty's here, let's get his let's let him weigh in on the whole bass player.
Let's go ahead. Let's get our guest view on what's going on tonight.
Yeah, we got a few minutes before Leather gets here, so we may as well.
I was always told that bass players have to be accompanied by an adult.
Everybody's got jokes here. Really? We got jokes. Okay. I have a question for you. When's your comedy special?
Yeah, are you plugging your stand-up show? Or?
Exactly. HBO show for the funny guy. Which one? When is that coming on?
Hey, Thunder, this is my medium right here, brother.
Is that going to be on Comedy Central?
Actually, this is my medium. We'll hang up on him. Let him know it's my medium, you son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm just playing.
Last week we determined that we're not. Last week we determined we're not going to be falling back on the comedy thing if the show doesn't work out.
America. Everybody's got something to say. Everybody's got something to say here. All right. Look, and if I hit that button right now, look, you know what? I'm just kidding. No, go ahead, man. No, thanks for being on the show. We really love you.
Oh, I had to.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Next time I'll call in and poke fun at Bill, and I got to take my turn.
Thank you. You can do it all at one time. Seriously, I promise you. You can make fun of anybody. Look, man. God love it.
Man, Jay, that interview was awesome, man. Veronica's awesome, man. Benedictum was they're kick-ass. That song you guys played, oh my God, that should have garnered in a bunch of new fans. I can't wait to hear the interview with Leather. That's going to be kick-ass.
She'll be here in just a few minutes. So, yeah, if you, obviously you can listen in, and, yeah, she's, Veronica and Leather have been among two of my favorite people to interview, so I was really excited to have them on the show at the same time. So, but, yeah, we will definitely have V back as a full-time guest when she's not in a hurry and doesn't have as much stuff to do and has time to chat about everything.
That's awesome,
well, obviously that depends on the Kickstarter, I would think.
Hello, she's like, I've got fangs in my mouth right now and I can barely talk. I'm like, no, you sound fine. As a matter of fact, you know what? I think it sounds awesome.
Yeah, she's filming. I guess she said she's filming a film or a movie, I thought it was a music video.
Yeah, she was a vampire, and I was like, you know what? How cool is that for us right here? Because I
almost was going to ask her if Harrison Ward was directing the video, because I know
we love metal and we love monsters and all that. And I'm like, oh, really? So now not only do we have a rock goddess, but we have a vampire rock goddess in the process of making a movie. And I'm like, you know what? How cool can that be right there? We'll just leave that alone. I mean,
it don't get no better than that.
Well, no.
And you know what?
I think.
As a matter of fact, I have a question for you. Can we use that as a drop?
What?
If you want
it don't get no better than that.
I was going to say, I should hope it gets better because we're just warming up. Leather's going to be here.
That's right.
Oh, she's here. Oh, goody, good. Okay. Well, then, if you want, I guess what we'll do then, let's go ahead and play Chastain real quick, and then we'll get Leather on and get this thing
going. Go from there.
That's all.
Let's do this thing.
When we set up the show, Will asked me to specifically get Leather to pick a Chastain song from back in the day. So for those of you who are not familiar with the band or have not kept up with what they're doing lately, let's get you up to speed with something old school that Leather picked herself from the vault. So this is the title track of Chastain's last album before this latest one, which was way back when. And this is called For Those Who Dare on the Lone Thunder Show. Let's rock it out.
Let's do this thing.
Hello.
welcome back to the Will and Thunder Show. That, of course, was Chastain with a song For Those Who Dare. She's on the line with us, but she's not pressed 1 to join the queue. So if you're here,
Leather, are you there?
Hi, hello, can you hear me?
Yay, we did.
Hi, babies.
Hey, girl, what's going on?
Hey, you know what? Thank you so much for hitting me back. Everything's really well. I'm glad that you're around still. I'm glad that we're all still around.
Yeah, no kidding. We're getting there. You know, I'm a little creakier in the joints, but I'm still here.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay.
Still keeping it metal, though.
That's right.
Man, so much has happened with you since the last time we talked about a year ago. And my God, where do we start?
Did we talk after the Imagine Me Alive, the Sledge Leather record? Is that when we talked? Or did we talk after?
No, we talked after the release of Surrender to No One.
Surrender to No One. You know, a lot has. And I always think to say to people when they go, how are you doing? For me to say, I wish that I was so much busier musically. But then when I talk to someone, I realize that, you know, a lot has happened since I'm just kind of stepping back into it. And I have to make up for those few years. So, yeah, a lot has happened.
Yeah, actually, I think you brought me luck, Leather, because when we talked the last time, you mentioned Doro, and you were saying like, oh, I'd love to have her tour schedule, and we started talking about her, and you mentioned asked me if I'd ever interviewed her, and at the time I said no, I don't think anybody at our place has, and not only have I interviewed her, but she was the one who told me about the show you guys did together.
Yeah,
like, oh,
isn't she? She is just such a munchkin. You just want to hug her and kiss her. I mean, I adore her. I had not run into her for 100 years, literally, since I tell everyone we've been doing this since 1934. I probably had seen Doro at the last the Foundations Forum, which you're probably even way too young to remember, right? The concrete conventions they used to have in the late 80s, early 90s in L.A.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Well, it just used to be all us crazy rocker people, and we would all be just like, you know, there would be all these like seminar talks of famous people, and, you know, everyone just helping each other out. And Doro was doing some talk about some bullshit, I don't know. So I went up to her and started like introducing myself, and she's like, oh God, I know who you are, because she really liked the Voice of the Cult record and started talking to me about the you know, certain songs on it. And I had not seen her since then. So, but of course, I mean, we all know about each other. But yeah, she was really gracious about it. She's a good kid.
Yeah, actually, she talked to me again about you guys, and she was so looking forward to getting on stage with you guys. So how was that? I've just been dying to find out what that was like.
You know, as I have said to Doro many times, you know, you were young and beautiful, and you just got swiped up by the industry immediately. You know, you've always had the people behind you, you've had the machine. But I walk in there, and I was, of course, with Veronica, and Veronica's worked with Doro, so it was this big, friendly atmosphere, and I was blessed. I got to run into a lot of people that I've spoken to for years. I ran into the old Roadrunner guys, who are now the Nuclear Blast guys, and Munzie, that I pay shitloads of money to keep me on the radio, and all these people, and there they were. But you know, I went into her dressing room, and, you know, I think that I'm small, and there's this little beautiful woman, totally cool, and she just kept looking at me and going, oh, my God, this is so stressful. We just hugged, and there's just a mutual respect, and she asked me how I wanted to do the song, and I now have people that are on my team that know her people, so she was kind of like saying to me, you know, we're talking about doing shows next year, and she was saying to me, what do you prefer? Do you want to do the States? Do you want to do Europe? So we were just like shooting the crap. And she asked me how I wanted to do the song and blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, she was just getting tugged in 1,000 ways. So I hugged her, said, see you later. So there I am, you know, backstage. And, again, she comes off because before I went on with her, there was a drum solo. And, like I said, she was just all, like all us vocalists go, she's just like, get away from me. Give me air. I need some freaking air, you know, so everybody cleared the room. And I just looked at her, and I was just smiling because she's just adorable. I mean, whatever anyone says about Doro and her music, I mean, and I was just looking at her going, wow, I remember this, you know. And she kind of looked at me funny, and I said, you know, good for you, Dee, that you got this drum solo. You can collect your thoughts, because I said something like, because I'm coming on, and we're just going to kill it, you know. And she was like, oh, my God, same thing. It's so stressful. And I went on there with her, and I was like, it was wonderful. I didn't want to leave. Her band is incredible. I felt like it was my show. She totally allows you to do what you want to do. We were just a great yin and yang. We had so much fun. And I think most people that go on with her, they stay like right next to her. But, me, I was like, running back and forth and working with the crowd. And I don't know if you've watched the videos on YouTube, but she's always kind of looking for me, which was like really funny. She's going, God, where the hell is she? But it was wonderful. Like I said, she's a wonderful spirit. She's encourages everyone and enjoys everyone's talent. And I had so much fun. It was really, really cool. They had to pull me off. Yeah, I couldn't stop hugging the girl. I felt like I was looking to marry her. I mean, I just fell in love with her. And then we all went on at the end. Then V went on, and she did. Jeff Waters, I think, went on. And then when we all went on for All We Are, and of course again, it was just incredible. So
I can't remember if she said it was going to be on DVD. Do you know if they've?
She is. I just actually signed my rights away, and I said, you better make sure it's my good side, bitch. You better make sure. But
that's the most rock and roll thing I've ever heard in my life. Listen here, you can have everything.
But yeah,
make sure I look cool. All right.
But, she's so loved. I mean, people love her, and I don't think it was necessarily one of her better shows. It wasn't necessarily packed, and I know she always packs the place in. But, I was just saying to her, I mean, this was like what? Of course, I'm exaggerating, but your 100th show in a row. I mean, the girl just keeps going and going, and it was just incredible. I hope that I get to work with her again. It was great to be in that environment. And, the Mighty Swine, who is Mike, the original bass player from Chastain, was opening for her. So it was just like this big freaking party. I love New York. I'm from New York. I mean, it was 45 degrees, and it was incredible. You could see her breath, and nobody had any warm clothes, and I was staying at the Chelsea. I mean, it was really a great time. I did not want to leave.
God, I wish I would have been there, actually. I kept thinking to myself,
you make it sound like so much fun. Like we missed everything right there by not being there.
No,
I mean, seriously, right there. It's like, you know what? I had my chance right there, and guess what? I wasn't there, so guess what? You know what? You lost out. Good job, buddy.
It was a party because Doro's celebrating. She was celebrating all these years for her, so it was just a party. And I think, actually, no, she had more shows after that, but, she's just a pro. She's a consummate pro, and I'm a pro, but we just had a lot of fun together, and I hope to do some shows with her. Like I said, that's what our people are working on, so I hope to be, working with her again. So we'll see what happens.
All right, well, if it ever happens again, you got to give us a call sometime. Let us know so we can be in, New York or Pennsylvania or LA, wherever, because I don't want to miss this the next time.
Yeah.
I'm already 40 now, so I only have so many chances left.
Well, we're all 40. So,
we only have so many moments left here. Give us a chance here.
I know it's funny
when
you think
funny
about
you mention that because when I talked to Doro, we got to talking, and she is when you talk to her and when you interview her, she kind of just wind her up and let her go. I didn't really have to do much. She just started talking, and all this stuff came out, and I don't know how the subject came up, but eventually we got to talking, and I just started being honest, and I said, what, Doro, honestly, you should come up with your own metal festival, like Doro Fest or whatever. I don't remember.
Yeah, what'd she say?
She like really was taken aback. She's like, that is a great fucking idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe if you put the idea there, not that I want credit for it, but if there's ever a Doro
No,
Fest,
I think I'll be emailing her tonight. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because I thought about you too, and all these bands like V and Benedictum and
that's the thing about
Nina
her.
and A Sound of Thunder,
and
all
Christina,
these bands.
The little bit that you know me, I kind of stay away from that girl thing because it freaking pisses me off. It just fucking pisses me off. But Doro is really supportive in that whole thing. She takes women. She's obviously supporting women's careers. So. I mean, I don't know, and that's what she said. It was funny.
I have a question for you.
Because the thing of it was, I mentioned, there's so many of these bands, not just male but female-fronted bands that are from Europe or overseas who just can't get over here, and they just don't have the means.
There's
somebody to.
There's nothing over here. That's what I was saying to her. I said nobody cares. There's nothing over here.
Right,
although
and
I know it's getting better. I know it's getting better if you can log into get into those larger festivals. The festivals are popping up again, and that's what she said. As she introduced me, I heard her saying something because I just wanted to go out and play, and I heard her saying something like, "Oh, this is whatever, my friend Leather from whatever 100 years ago, and we have to stick together and blah blah blah." So I immediately ran ran out, and I said in her ear, really, you got to bring up the girl bullshit. And I mean, she just laughed. I mean, it was just funny.
See, you
no,
know,
but in the way you guys, I mean, in the way you guys are such trailblazers, you know, you kind of have to. I know you don't like to think of yourself that way, and you're so modest about it, but I mean, in a way, you kind of have to own it and just be like, you know, you and Doro are part of this group.
Yeah. See, I look at it totally different than you're looking at it, Chris, right there. And so, you know, listening to Chastain's music back then.
Yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, you had a lot of female vocalists back then that, and they were still kind of femme. They kept it quiet, and they used the higher registers and everything. Now, you, Leone, right there, look, you sounded as good, if not better, than any male singers back then who tried to sing in your register. I mean, I can see. Like, you know, you look at Iron Maiden right there, and I can hear your vocal range right there, and you had as much power as all the guys right there, and you're like, man, fuck you guys. Look, I'm not that chick.
And that's
I'm
exactly what the hell I said, I got to tell you. Well,
exactly. I'm not that chick wearing a push-up bra trying to be a fucking rock star.
Well,
I am a fucking rock star, and you kiss my ass trying to keep up with me, you motherfucker.
Well,
grab your nuts and sing as high as I do, and do it.
That was never me. If that was you, I had that proposal to me a lot of times. If that was natural for me, it'd be okay. It's interesting you bringing all this up because Chastain is like digging through all these old demos now that he's like putting out on Facebook for people to hear, and of course he has to get my permission to release any of my stuff, but I'm like, oh my God, that was obviously pre-testosterone days for me. I mean, I sound like, oh my God, my vocal range.
No, I mean, look, you were so powerful, and look, when you hit those high notes, and you can hear, like, you know, like Iron Maiden, Steve, not Steve, excuse me, I'm back to bass player anyway. Listening to, and you hear these notes the way they're withstand the long hold on these notes, and the guttural sounds to it with the pitch right there. You are like, you're dead on all of your pitches right there, but you're not sitting there and you're not falsetto and you're not above a low C. No, I think that what you did right there is you set the bar for a lot of these guys out there who are trying to do that.
Yeah. Well, and again, unfortunately, the sex shouldn't even be. You know, I'm just a metal singer.
It should be.
Yeah, I happen to have boobs instead of a cock. I mean, it's all the same. You know, I mean.
Right.
No,
we talked about that before. You know, it's just it'd be a nice thing when a day comes where we don't ever have to mention the gender of anybody who does anything artistically.
Yeah.
But it's
the gender or the color or I know.
Right.
The thing I'm saying right here, if you hear about Bruce Dickinson and hitting a note right here, and it's like, oh, do you hear how long he hit that note for right there? And the register right there, and you can do it. And what you're doing right there, you do the same exact note.
Yeah.
And now a lot of the girls at that time, I mean, you look at like Lita Ford.
You're right. Yeah. When I was on stage with Chastain, that was a joke that I had with him because especially the vamp, the end of the songs, that was my thing. I used to try to see if I could hold it out all through his. He used to look at me and he used to go, "Get the fuck off my line." I mean, that was and you know, I had been on the road for so long. After 4 or 5 years, I could do, and he just used to look at me and go. I used to get so pissed. I mean, in a funny way.
I fucking hate you. Get away from me. Exactly. You know, all right, look, man. That's awesome right there.
He used to say to me, "How many more notes? You're the vocalist. Give me a break." And I would just hold out these notes. It was really fun.
And the cool thing about that is you. Tell me you did the whole thing like you looked at him with like kind of half eyes rolled back, like I could do this all day.
All day, yeah. Back then I could.
That's fucking beautiful. God love you. You know what? And that's why you're Leone right there.
That's right.
You know what?
That's right.
God love you.
Right. Well, Thunder brings up Bruce Dickinson, but I was going to say, and I know you'll probably love this, but this is my honest opinion. But I'm listening to the new Chastain record, and there's so many times where I feel like you're channeling Ronnie. Like there's something in your voice that's like I can hear Dio is influenced somewhere in there, and I can't
forever.
like, especially I Am Sin, and
oh God,
like
I mean, I heard him. I was a late bloomer to him. I heard him in probably '83, and it was just over for me. I was in that band called Rude Girl, and we were blessed enough to meet him and hang out with him a lot. And I mean, I was just like the little fucking drummer girl, just and I can remember sitting down with him one time, and saying to him, you know, oh my God, he should just smoke all this pot with my boyfriends and drink all this beer. And I said to him, you know what you do, right? I mean, what you do to me, I mean, what, you know, and that's where something in this life came from on Shockwaves. He looked at me and he grabbed my hand and he said, you'll find it. You know, it's something that you will find. It'll be a peace of mind that you will just acquire. He goes, I've heard your stuff. You're good enough. Just keep doing it. So, yeah, oh, God, I just get all choked up thinking about it. But, yeah.
That is awesome right there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I listened to that and I got chills because it's like Ronnie still lives.
And me too right there.
Like, yeah.
Chris, we're on the same level because I'm saying that's a chill bump on right there.
Yeah,
Where you're sitting there, I mean, it's everything, your mind and your heart, your aspirations are right there.
Yeah,
and, you know, someone that you look up to grabs a hold of you and goes, you know what? Look, man, you're right there.
Yeah. And, you know, he did that to everybody. He lifted everybody that way. Were you guys ever blessed enough to meet him?
No, unfortunately, no.
Yeah, no,
my boyfriend did when he
did
was
that with
working
everyone.
in radio.
He made you feel like you were the only one in the room. He was incredible. Like I said, I used to go to all his shows. He was just this little magical freaking elf that used to walk around with this aura around him. And Wendy was always just kind of taking care of him and telling him where to go. And he was just incredible. I mean, he was just inspiration. And when we lost him, unfortunately, and when I went to his funeral and everything, that's when it just really hit me. You know, I still go to his grave all the time. It just hit me how kind of stupid I was and how selfish I was to not be doing kind of what, you know, the talent that I was given. So, yeah, he kicked me in the ass, too, that way.
Yeah, I read in your bio that he's a huge reason why you came back to music.
He was it, yeah, I mean, for sure. It's almost like I felt I owed it to him, which is really stupid, but I just...
No way.
Yeah. I just did.
That's one of the things right there that, you know, there's a difference there, and there's a magic between musicians, and there's a difference. You have some out there who don't deliver that, you know, that, you know, hand held out, man, look, you guys are doing the right thing, and I love what you do. And you have some musicians out there, and, you know, same thing with, you know, artists of anything, you know, when it comes to artists or, you know, sports figures or whatever.
Of course.
You know, but it's nice to have that person out there who is that true of an artist and that great of an artist who puts their hand out and says, look, you know, you know what, look, I dreamed of this moment my whole life, and now I'm here right here. And you know what, now I hear you, and you know what, look, man, what you're doing is the right thing. And it's great. It's that little thing, right? We had a young girl on last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking about that with Gabby Ray last week.
With Gabby
Ray. And she's fantastic right there. She's got a couple guys right there that are just phenomenal musicians who, you know, have already laid their, you know, stamp on the music world right here that are standing behind her. And I think that right there is more magical.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean that right there,
worthy.
You know,
they
it's
know
awesome.
that her talent is worthy. Yeah, no, I've been watching her for a few years. Yeah, she's pretty cool. What is she, 12?
Exactly, you know,
right?
Like 15, 16 years old, and you know, and the thing is, I started playing music when I was in the 4th grade, and I played trombone, French horn, baritone, blah 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 blah. Then I moved up, and I started playing bass guitar and was in bands and everything with Will and everything. My uncle played in a big band in the 60s and 70s, and you know, and it's always been an aspiration to be, you know, that good and to be a part of something that big, and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
You know, to watch, you know, the way things grow right there.
Right.
And, you know, whether it gets to where you're just playing in a bar right there and you play for 5 people.
And I was just going to say, it's not about selling records. It's not about having a million people on Twitter. It's just about what it does for you and that feeling and the inspiration that I got inside with my connection to him. That's what it's all about. That's what life is all about, I think. Yeah.
Exactly.
And everybody
uncle,
doesn't get it. Everybody doesn't get it.
No, they don't understand. I mean, you look at it from the outside right there, and you see, like, Justin Bieber fans, oh, yeah, he makes millions and millions and billions of dollars. But I don't even think he's a musician. And I mean, he's okay. Don't get me wrong here.
Well, actually, I mean, a lot of people talk shit about Bieber, and I'm not saying that he has musical, like, his style of music is for me, but a lot of people don't realize he plays, like, 5 instruments. He can play
Oh, no, yeah.
It's just what Leather talks about. Some people get sucked into this machine.
Yeah.
And it's all about selling an image, or
And you know what?
I mean,
it also bothers me because all of you, I have always loved Britney. I'm a huge Britney fan. She still, no matter what she is, who creates her, who writes her songs, she still is working her ass off. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Her level of entertainment, we would all fall over the bridge. I mean, so you have to take it for what it's worth. You know, you don't have to.
Same with Michael. I mean, look at Michael Jackson right there.
They work
and his career and how things.
They sell their souls for that, for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it really is. I mean, it's like you said, it is a machine, and they look to these people to keep the wheels turning and at any cost, even to their own. And you see why a lot of these pop stars crack up and go nuts and weird shit happens to them.
Right, and as much as you don't want to say that, you know, 90% of you talking about somebody else and their career of things is jealousy to a point right there. If you look at Justin Bieber, and like, oh, look at, you know, one guy found him and all he does is he sings the little pop songs and everybody writes his songs and everything. And when you're a guitar player for a band who sat there for 20 years and you've written every song that you've ever played and you haven't got your dues, I mean, I understand being upset. I understand the whole thing when people get upset about the whole American Idol thing.
Chastain and I have those conversations all the time. It's like you never know what people are going to like, and you can't. But Chastain's never come from that school. He's just like, I put it out. If you like it, you like it. But you can't. I mean,
and if you don't, guess what?
Yeah, you can't base either hype on yourself, negative hype or positive hype. You can't believe it because you'll be thrown over the bridge in a day. You know, it's not. It's hard though. It's hard for people to. It's some type of void or something. And I find myself now getting back into it. Sometimes getting to that same frustration level that I got to 100 years ago. But you have to put it in its proper place. You have.
But you know what's great? But you know what's really great about that?
What?
That frustration, that's where real good metal music comes from.
That's right, baby.
It's that frustration.
I mean,
when you're at that point, and that's where metal and punk came from right there, was frustration. Yeah. And to have that back again and be like, look, man, you know, look, all they're doing right now is they're signing Justin Bieber's and, you know, Christina Aguilera's. I know I'm so far out of the loop right now because neither one of them are big anymore. But you know what I mean right now. And, you know, you don't hear that on the radio. You cannot turn on a local radio station that does not say we're playing oldies right now and hear metal.
I know.
Well, yeah,
it kills me.
There hasn't been a metal, like a real metal hard rock station in Los Angeles for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So, you know,
it blows by my head now, right?
Right.
And I'm in Memphis. I'm outside of Memphis, Tennessee, right here, and it's the heart of where rock and roll quote started right here. You know, Elvis Presley, and we don't have a rock station here. You know, we've got some rock stations that play, you know, Nickelback and shit like that. That's not rock. If I go to the only stations, I hear Metallica, and I'm like, no, that's not. Look. I go 15 years ago back when, you know, the guys I worked with were 45 and I was in my 20s.
Right.
And they're like, oh, we're listening to the golden oldies, the old school rock station. And there's Cream and, you know, Iron Butterfly.
My friend said that my friend said that to me the other day. She's like, holy shit. So I turn on the radio the other day and they talk about being a classic rock station and they're playing Metallica and Motley Crue. She's like, I'm going to go jump off the bridge.
Yeah.
I turned on the other day. Look.
I knew that I was old the day I heard Nirvana on classic rock. Like, that's my age group. You know, I remember when that was new. You know, it's like, I can't be this old already.
Yeah.
They're like, here, classic rock station, and here's Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? No, look, I'm not that old yet. But you know what? I found out something, though, and I guess it's a reality here. Somebody told me this 20 years ago.
What?
You know how you know you're getting old? When the songs that you knew are on the Golden Oldie station, and on top of that, you know nobody who's on Saturday Night Live. So at this time, I know nobody that's on Saturday Night Live. Yeah. I don't know. I can't understand them. I think the jokes are stupid. I'm like, really?
Well,
okay, you're talking about diaper jokes.
And I'm like, who the fuck is that? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You made a funny face and said the word diaper. That's not funny.
The metal thing, we've always been underdogs, and it's okay. I'm really comfortable there. I'm really comfortable there. And as you know, I've always been an underdog. So, Yeah, and as you say, frustration breeds great writing. I'm working on a new Chastain record right now, and a lot of my frustration comes because Chastain is on a tour. He's done with it. And, Sludge Leather, God, I tried to get all these fests and stuff, and, of course, Chastain is getting offered them, and he doesn't want to play them. So that's my fuel,
So you basically tour as a solo artist by yourself, but doing Chastain material.
I hooked up with a promoter. He's probably listening to this, Rodrigo Scalza from Brazil. And I hooked up with him because he was trying to get Chastain to go down there, for years. And when Surrender to No One came out, he got in touch with David, and David's like, not interested. He goes, but you know what I think Leather is. So he kind of got in touch with me, and, I didn't know who he was. I'm going, dude, whatever. I don't know who you are. I'm going to come down to Brazil. But, totally incredible tour. Small amount of shows, small clubs, treated amazing. And I thought, because I played 3 shows with V in the summer, and then I went down to Brazil in August, and I was saying to Chastain, you know what, I'm going to go check this out because it may not be the same for me. I may not be able to do it anymore. I don't sing every day. I don't, so I really, ran and did all these vocal things, but I said, let me check it out. It's probably not even going to move me anymore. So the shows with V were okay, but, whatever. So then I go down to Brazil, and it was just fucking sick. Amazing. He got me this young band, these boys that are in their 20s and 30s that knew nothing about Chastain.
Now we know what the real deal is right
here. You know it.
Hey, listen here. And you're nothing about you're like, look, man, I got a couple guys that are 20 years old.
They knew nothing about Chastain, which was beautiful. All of a sudden they heard it, and they're like, holy fuck. So I go down there. We rehearsed such a small amount of time because I like to be spontaneous. Here, this is the structure of the song. Let's do it twice. It's over.
Right.
Like I said, the clubs are really small, only 400 or 500 people. It was sick. So on the third night, Rodrigo and the guitar player, Damon Ross, were sitting in my hotel room, and he said, so what do you think? And I said, well, I think I want to keep going. So
yeah, I was going to say, if you want an ego booster if you want an ego booster as a musician, or to get motivated, like if you're in a slump and need to feel motivation, I'm just thinking, like, to any musician, just go to Brazil or go to South America because
that's what I'm doing tomorrow.
Or even go to Europe.
Every single DVD of every band I own. It doesn't even matter what time.
Doesn't matter.
You go to the section where the band goes to South America, and I kid you not, it's almost like the same thing every single time. They get there. It doesn't matter what band it is. The crowd is just like, oh my God, and they're screaming and
they were incredible. They were so kind.
Yes, Chris. And bass players don't get shot down there, so I'm going to get some just for men. And I'm going to grab my bass. I'm going down.
Look,
I can salsa. I promise you.
They don't care.
Like I said, they were
get shot. And of course, they sang every freaking song. I did stuff off Shockwaves.
That is so awesome.
So anyway, so I said, you know what? Yeah, I think I want to try to do this. So of course I'll go back to Brazil, and this was a guy that knew Doro's people. He's an old friend of Doro's. So
right.
So he's it's like I said, I've got a lot of offers, but talk is cheap. So we'll see. But I basically now have a band. I have these hot studs down in Brazil that are ready to go at any time, and this promoter who he's done it for years. So I'm going to do the new Chastain record in the spring. And then, I'm just trying to get out. As people, as the voice of Chastain, people are accepting me without David, so I'm going, baby. I'm going.
Let's do this thing. Now, I have a question here. We have a couple songs here from Chastain that we'd like to play, so maybe we'd like to let our listeners that are out here tonight hear a couple of those songs. You ready to hear one of those songs?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's play some new stuff, and since I just was talking about it a few minutes ago, let's play the song that makes me think of Ronnie when I listen to it, because your vocals are so amazing.
Thank you.
This one's my personal favorite. It's called I Am Sin. This is from the new Chastain record, Surrender to No One. So let's rock it out on the Lone Thunder Show. Check it out.
It's Leonard Leone, killing it.
The road to heaven is lying in the river by water.
love the track.
All right,
You
welcome
guys,
back to the
I love
Center.
the audience track that you have.
No, that's not a
Our
track.
fans are amazing.
Are they just all hanging out there in the booth with you?
Yep. We
That's great.
we pay them $1.50
A
appearance.
clap.
We feed them
That's why we're broke.
and a thimble full of beer.
That's good. That's all that counts. Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, that was fucking awesome.
Thank you.
Where'd you go, Will? What happened?
We're all here, right here. And actually, no, that was really fucking awesome. And that's what I'm saying right there. You know, look, right there, the vocals right there, especially when you hold that note out right there, you're like, it's like, dude, it's like a punch in the fucking face right there. I love that. God, look, man. I mean, I look back in the day right there, and you look at, like, female vocalists back there who are like, oh, I'm going to sing to you, and I'm going to tell you a little story right here. And, you know, you're like, I'm going to punch you in the fucking face after I'm done kicking you in the nuts, and I'm going to grab you by the throat, and I'm going to tell you what I'm saying right now. And you better fucking listen to what I'm saying here. Because
well, in fact,
I mean, you're exactly like my wife. You're exactly like my wife. You sing like my wife
like
talks
your wife
to me.
Is, right?
I'm seriously. You sing like my wife talks to me right there. Look, if I don't put the dishes in the dishwasher just right, my wife talks to me the way that you sang right there.
Cool.
And I'm like, okay, I hear. I got you. I understand. Look, my bad. Fuck it, I'm done. Look, I'm putting the plate.
Back then it wasn't, you know, again, Chastain protected me from all that stuff, but he's telling me the stories now. Back then it really wasn't cool. I mean, people were turning us down all the time because, you know, he had the girl singer. So, I'm assuming it's different now. I don't know. I don't look at things like that. My perspective was, oh, well, they didn't want us. That means, you know, we weren't good enough or we weren't what they were looking for. I never went around and said, shit, it's because I'm a girl, you know. But, yeah.
No, you were too fucking good. That's the problem.
Bullshit. You know, it is bullshit because it shouldn't matter what kind of singer you are. It shouldn't matter if you're a male or female.
It's probably different. It's probably different today. I would assume that it is because there's so many females that are out there doing it. You know, I would assume it's different. The ones that are out there today, I'm sure they're like me. They don't give a fuck. They're just out there cranking. Yeah. I think there's a new breed of women.
Levels of difficulty just because there are those assholes out there who still look at this as a novelty or a gimmick or, you know, not as serious.
I don't know. I've never been, you know, never having the machine behind me, I don't know. And like I said, I just obviously assumed when things didn't work out that, you know, it had nothing to do with me, my gender. It just, like I said, I wasn't good enough that day or, you know, we weren't there what they were looking for. And, you know, this is the one thing I could kind of do in my life. I could kind of always sing. So it's funny, when we were on the road, I used to like helping the crew. I mean, I loved the crew. I was always, you know, carrying guitars in and amps and stuff. So people, you know, when they didn't know us, they'd be like, oh, God, look how cool that is. You know, Chastain is a chick guitar tech or whatever it was, you know. And then, you know, I would be like, oh, can I borrow your microphone? And go up there for something. And I enjoyed nothing more than going, oh, hold on for a minute. I got to show you something.
Vocally.
Yeah. I got to show you something.
I'm going to tell you right now. First and foremost of all things, literally, first and foremost of all things, you kick ass vocally right there. And you hold your own with any vocalist of that era. I mean, from the 70s through the, you know, late 80s right there. I mean, you could hit anything and do anything that they want. On top of that, you're a fucking hottie.
Oh, and that's so important to me.
You could give anybody's younger whippersnappers a run for their money, too. I mean, your vocals are just as good now as they were then. Oh. You could probably blow away about 99%.
Well, you know,
and I did not say this. I didn't put a time frame on that. I said that she was that good then vocally, and she is now. And back then was hot.
It's not about that.
Still is hot.
I wish. Why does any of this have to be a competition? Why do we have to have the 10 best of anything? I mean, we should just all try to be the.
I'm just saying.
You know, I learned that a long time ago. I didn't take a lot of vocal lessons, but when I was in 8th grade, I said, you know, Mom, I want to go to so and so down the street and learn how to sing properly. And I walked in, and there was this woman at the piano, and she looked at me, and that was when the Dreamboat Annie had come out. And somebody had turned me on to that, and I was like, motherfucker. And I said to her, I want to be better than Annie Wilson. You have to show me how to. And she looked at me way back then, little tiny leather, and she said, You can't do that. You will never be as good as anybody else. You have to be the best you can be. There's room for everybody. That made such an impression on me. She's like, you don't learn to do something to be better than somebody else. And I was like, wow. But watch
that,
me.
Actually, you know what, right there, and honestly, and a lot of parents are there, and I'm not one of those parents, but I've got 6 kids right here, and they played sports and, done their things right there. And, actually, it's the same thing right here. It's a point where do the best you can.
Right.
Don't kill yourself. I have a son who was a fantastic football player, and he hurt his back.
Yeah.
And at that point right there, it was a choice right there. You can play, but you have a choice of if you get hit one time, you might not walk.
Yeah.
And you have to let them know right there, look, man, I love you more than anything in the world, and you are a fantastic football player. But guess what?
Yeah.
You have a choice to make right here.
Right.
Would you rather be a great football player for one day or walk for the rest of your life? And,
exactly. That's tough as a young person. That's tough.
Oh, absolutely. But it was so gracious of your mom to tell you that right there. You know what? You don't have to be better than this person. You have to be the best you.
Yeah.
And that really is, where it is right there.
Yeah,
because there's always going to be.
That made an impression on me for sure. So again, that's, so I was just obviously the best I could be. So like I said, I never walked around in the 80s going, oh, it's because I'm a girl. It didn't even affect me, in any way, shape, or form. And I guess I know that you keep saying this thing, but I guess there were 5 of us back in the day. Who was it? Like me and Doro and Ann and Dawn, who's gone, and Debbie Gunn and Betsy. So I guess there were just a handful of us, I'm sure there. But I got to tell you, when I was on the road all the time, there were all these females out there, always. And I think there's shitloads of them more. But it's like anyone. For every person that makes it, there's 5,000 that don't. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of talent out there for sure.
But yeah, you just be the best weather you can be.
Look at right there.
Yeah.
That's the thing that be the best you can be right there.
Exactly.
And you strive to be better than the next person you see in front of you, but be the best that you can be for yourself right there.
Yeah, because
there's always going to be somebody
better. There's always going to be somebody better, somebody better looking, somebody who can hit a higher note. That's just the way life is. Yeah.
There's somebody in a garage somewhere that can play bass better than I can play.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm no genius bass player. I'm no Billy Sheehan. I'm a good bass player, and I hold myself at a level that I'm a great bass player.
Right.
But I know that what, and you talk to all my friends there, that I think I'm an average bass player, and that's the way I play right there.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's a kid out there that's 15 years old
that
his dad gave him a bass when he was 4 years old. That's doing shit that makes Grand Funk Railroad funk. And
that's right. Yeah, and it's okay.
Look
it's
easy.
So good. Yeah,
and that's fine. The point of the matter is, be the best that you can be when you're doing it, and make somebody love your music right there. That's what it's all about, right there.
It is. It's and that's what I learned from Ronnie. Yeah, it's just about fulfilling yourself and inspiration, and if I inspired one person to do something in the arts or to do anything, I don't even care if they drive cars, whatever. If you can inspire them to feel the way all of us have felt when we met someone of that caliber to us, hello, You
won.
Incredible.
It's a win right there.
Yeah.
You inspired one person.
You've got the right attitude, and that's how I feel about music, too. It's all about sharing the love of the music. It's not, for me, it's not about, I'm not a musician, but for me, with what I do, writing reviews and being on this show, for me, it's not about making money or about, because I don't make any money doing this. You
love it, though. And at the end of the day, all the people that you talk to and the younger people that you turn music on to, it's all.
It's all, for me, it's all about
life
sharing
is way too short, and it's this big round circle, and we have to.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a love right. It's a love right there. It's a love of a certain thing right there. And when you hold yourself accountable, especially for a certain type of art or music or what have you, and you can give it to somebody else and they appreciate that and they hold it on to it and they bring it close to their heart. That right there, financially, you can't put a number on that.
No.
Right. To me, if there's one person out there who's listening to the show tonight that goes to one of your shows or contributes to Veronica's Kickstarter, I will feel like I did my job. Like I did what I came to do, and I wanted to share this music with people.
Did you guys ever hook up with Veronica tonight?
Yeah,
yes, we did.
Earlier.
We talked to her for
Yeah, we were hoping she'd have time to call and hang out with you, but she had to go. She's filming a video right now.
She's doing so much shit. Every day I get the new report. Okay, good luck. Go get him. Okay, yeah.
I know. She's like so busy. So
she is.
But
I'm very happy
I was
for
glad
her,
that you hooked us up, and I was glad she was able to come in and promote her Kickstarter, and we'll get her back as a full-time guest.
Because I really, this album is really near and dear to her own. I just, to her heart, I want her to get it out there because it's really a different side of her. And I got to tell you, I listen to a lot of music and I do a lot of stuff. And I sat in the studio and listened to a couple of these freaking songs, and I was just crying. I mean, it's a total rock record. It's not metal at all. The feelings that it emoted from me, besides the fact that I fucking love Veronica, and so I think we hooked up maybe 3 years ago now. I mean, we really connect, and I fucking adore her, and this record is going to really push her to just different places, and I'm so happy for her, and she's so nervous. I mean, it's going to be intense. I just want people to hear this, the stuff that she's done with Michael.
And that's the other thing and I agree with you right there. You take music right there, and it might start from a metal genre, but you said this is more rock.
Yeah,
it may
really
be a little
rock.
softer. It's more emotional and everything. But you know what? You need that. I mean, I think I listen to all different types of genres of music right there.
Right.
I do base myself in metal and
right.
rock a little more, but I mean, I still listen. I mean, I live in Tennessee now.
Right.
I mean. The most of radio that's here is country music, and there's some country music that it's kind of, and actually country now is more southern rock than it's ever been any kind of country.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, I'm saying right now is I mean the thing is there's so many genres out there, and especially if you take time and you listen to some of these artists that have been metal that are doing, might be a little bit lighter or might be a little heavier than what you're used to. Take a minute to listen to these guys because the emotion and the words behind it, the message behind it, might strike you to where you don't think you'd ever been.
Saying that about Veronica's new material, it's still Veronica's fucking, powerhouse fucking, four-wheel voice. I mean, that woman, we get in the studio together and it's just like frickin' metal romper room. I mean, it's like...
Well, we talked about this, too, on the show before, about how, at least in my case, I like when somebody goes solo or breaks away from their original band and does something entirely different than what you expect.
Exactly, and that's what she's doing. Frontier said to her, totally different. Like, she I'm sure she told you, she did some writing with Michael Sweet, and I don't know if she's going to use the Tony Martin song on there, and I did a song with her.
She mentioned it, yeah. She said she's going to do that.
But like I said, I was
just
going,
awesome,
holy shit. I would say to her, you are so brave. But, yeah, I'm really happy for her. Yeah, really happy. And I want her to get it out there big time. Because she's such a love muffin. She is such a freaking love muffin. I mean, I just want to tour the world with her. Hermie and Doro, I mean, it was just sick. It was just...
That's what I'm saying. Like, Doro needs to... We need to get this Doro Fest thing going because there's so many bands that she could bring with her of all genres across the metal board that would just what Doro wants me to come play on her festival. I'm there.
And I got to tell you,
like,
again,
I forget. I don't have the money and
true.
But I said, you have the name. If you even said you were doing it, there's people who are going to line up down the block to be on the stage.
And I kind of forgot. And that was like the straightest period of my life. When I was on the road doing music, I mean, I was just freaking run. I mean, I didn't party, I didn't do anything. But I still noticed there's a lot of things. I mean, I kind of forget. So I'm at the Doro show, and I'm like, shit, Bobby's going to be here from Overkill. I'm like, electric rattlesnake. I was so psyched. So he's in the room, and I go up to him, like, to introduce myself. I'm like, dude, that fucking record. And he's like, how you doing, Leather? And I'm like, do you know me? And he's like, yeah.
Here's what kills me the most.
Yeah.
Leather, I just want to say something real quick here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost out of time here. Okay. I mean, we can keep going on after this. After a few minutes, we're going to go into what we call our overtime segment, where we record the show and it'll go on the YouTube. But I want to ask you one question here.
Sure.
The thing is, the longer that we do this show right here, I realize, more and more, when I started doing this, and I think Will had the same idea behind it, we look at every guest that we have as, like superstars and unhuman to it. And the more and more we talk to people, I just listen to you like you're saying right there with that, he looks at you like, oh, I know who you are. And you're like, oh, you know who I am?
Right.
We take the human out of, you guys right there. We're like, oh, you're, dealing with everything so much. But no, exactly. It's so nice to have you guys on the show right here and, get the human side of you guys again.
Oh, yeah.
Right
Same thing. I know you got it very quickly in Brazil. Same thing. I'm in the airport with Zach Wilde, and I went up to say something to him. He's like, hey, Leather. I'm like, you know me?
It's that point right there. And the thing is, and I love that about you right there. I love that realness and that, the humility and the, oh, wait a minute, you're telling stories about where, I felt uncomfortable. And my eyes right here, I mean, I'm talking to Leather Leone. I'm talking to a superstar right here. And you're like, so oh, yeah. There was this moment where, I was kind of shaking my boots. I went to talk to and that is so cool right there, and bringing that live, and and that's why I love.
It's a small world, but it's a large world too. But you guys, I really appreciate you taking the time. I love it, love it, love it. Christina, you're a rock star. You're great. Thanks for staying in touch with me. And when the new Chastain record comes out, we can talk again probably in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, it would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was going to say, we for the listeners out there, the show on Blog Talk Radio technically ends at 9 o'clock, but if Leather wants to stay for a few more minutes and shoot the breeze, we go into what's called overtime, which will be recorded, but we'll have that part up when we upload everything to YouTube.
I'm actually glad that you caught me because we're speaking, my promoters are waiting for me to talk to them in Brazil, so they're waiting for me to Skype them, so I really should shut my mouth because I can talk forever.
Well, then in that case, if you've got to get going, then what we'll do... the same thing with you, Leather. Whenever we get together, I just could talk to you all day because you're just so fun to talk to, and I love you too. And hopefully, once you get back out on the road, I will try to see if you can. Hopefully, you'll come by Central California so I can see you. But
that's where you are. That's where you're in the state.
Yeah, I'm in hell.
Where are you?
California. I'm in Bakersfield.
No fucking way. Oh shit, I didn't know that. Well, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'm in LA a lot.
Yeah, the odds are even, you guys. We have 2 women from California on the show tonight again, like we did last week. So
cool.
They're 2 guys from Florida, so,
Cool. Well, like I said, I really appreciate all your time, and thanks for pushing the music. I mean, it means everything, and, it's all for Ronnie, so it's all really good.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time to be a part of our show. You know what? As I said, we love you and appreciate you. Keep the rock alive. And
you know it, baby. Thank you so much, you guys. I love you both.
That's right, sweetheart.
Metal!
All right,
See you later.
We'll
Bye-bye.
talk to you later. That's right.
Thank you,
rock
Leather.
on.
We'll have you back on the show soon. And since we're going to end the show tonight, let's play one last song from Chastain. We might have a couple more minutes, and, we might have just enough time. So, here's another song off the new album. It's called Evil Awaits Us, and we'll see you guys all next week on the Will and Thunder Show. Have a great week, everybody, and rock out.
Good night, Chris. Have a good one. Thanks.
You can't ever find
All right, welcome back to the Lone Thunder Show. Just wanted to, before we wrap it up, I just wanted to give a quick thank you so much to our guests tonight, Veronica Freeman and Leather Leone. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming onto the show and giving us your time, and we definitely look forward to having you guys back on the show when each of your new albums are released. And we love you guys, and thank you so much to all our listeners and everybody out there. We will see you all next week, and until then, Will is going to play some, here it is. All right, well, good night, you guys, and we'll see you next week. Rock it out and stay metal.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few